Welcome back everyone to Asura's Wrath. Last time we left off, Asura fought God, got super angry, and his daughter tossed him off the space station to save his life. So, a lot of things have happened, and all that's kind of took at our little demigod. So for the duration of this chapter, we're rolling with the blue ninja Yasha.
You go forward. Nonetheless.
Yasha,
Sir,
power without a purpose is meaningless and worthless. A purpose that is firm can change the impossible to the possible. That is the power of our cause.
yes, sir. A purpose that is firm. There is not much time left. You are the only one who can save this world.
Are you kidding me? We just spent the whole game trying to get rid of these things, and now God brings them back in full force? What the hell?
They must have sniffed me out.
Well, since we're here, we kind of have to deal with them, don't we? This chapter does really help hammer in a certain point, though. Like I just rant on about, we spent the whole game battling the Goma of different sizes, shapes, and impurities. We've seen them ravage the land, decimate cities and towns, and kill millions of people. We've combated the very will of the planet at its very core to rid the planet of this wrathful being. And what do we think everything's fine and dandy? No. The very creator of basically everything comes out of nowhere and says, "Oh, what? The Goma thing? Yeah, I was just see if you're worth enough junk. But since you don't want to be my successor, you guys don't get tired of me making your daughter suffer for like 1,000 years business. Screw you then. Here's it going back. Have fun, dumb nut." Kind of leaves you with that feeling was like all for naught. Like none of it was even worth doing if some god's gonna pop out of nowhere and bring them all back in the blink of an eye. Fair enough, in a technical standpoint, it's easier to reuse one of two enemy factions and to make a new faction of foes, but using the same faction that plagued the world for thousands of years and just after being defeated, in a spectacular fashion, might I add, shows that this god really doesn't care about the people of this earth, and why would he? Like I said in the last episode, he would just recreate the world all over again. All he really cares about is basically finding a successor so he can go into retirement. Which, putting it like that, makes him seem pitifully selfish. Even not putting it like that makes him seem, like, very selfish in a sense.
It's this!
Oh, gotta try harder than that. Oh, nice try, guys. Come on, boy, let me deal with this. And off you go. Yeah, no. Time to finish this off with a patented Yasha Blast. Anything but you.
Even after defeating Vlitra, the Goma still appear. There is plenty of time to deal with the Goma. But first, I must do something about this fool.
Did you know Vlitra is an Asura? Yep, the great will of the planet is actually an Asura. His original name is actually a letter off, Vritra, which means enveloper, or if going based on the Vedic culture, Ahi, meaning snake or serpent. The extra story of Vritra varies on whichever one you read. The earliest version of the tale of Vritra is a bit basic. Originally, everyone was getting a bit peeved off at the serpent Vritra from taking the world's water and storing it inside himself, leaving the planet in a huge drought. Indra, who soon became the king of the gods, was born specifically to bring the waters back. He stormed all 99 of Vritra's fortresses, destroying all of them until reaching the main snake himself. The two fought each other in what seemed to be an even battle, but Indra had a trick up his sleeve. He reached for the sky and pulled down his signature lightning bolt, the Vajra, and wiped him out, freeing the water as a result. An interesting tidbit about the conflict is that Deus also utilizes the Vajra when fighting Asura. Maybe was going to use it to fight Vlitra? Anyways, while this story is a bit more straightforward, in later years it was rewritten to make Vlitra, or Vritra, seem more like a more sympathetic character. He was created by an angry god, Travastri, wanting revenge on Indra for killing his son, Trisiras, because Indra was afraid of him. Funny that. Vritra became the creation of anger that swallowed Indra whole. The only solution that Indra's godly friends had was to basically make the snake throw up. Even then, Indra was no match for the serpent, so a small meeting was held between the Rishi, aka the local sages, and Vishnu, and a truce was made with the agreement that Indra could not attack Vlitra with anything made of metal, stone, or wood, wet or dry, and it can't be in the day or night. But the clever thinking Indra, still wanting to end Vlitra, devised a plan full of loopholes. One day he took a trip to the beach and stayed until twilight. While there, he noticed a sea brush a nice column of foam. It was at that moment when he realized that it was neither day or night, and that the foam was neither metal, stone, wood, wet, or dry. Even though I think it should be considered wet, he picked up the foam and slayed the beast that is Vlitra. After the fact, it becomes clear that the foam was just Vishnu incarnate, so doesn't it kind of void the whole thing? Technically? Because at that point, wasn't he dry? But you're probably asking, how does all this relate to the game, you ask? Well, think back to the first battle of Vlitra. Vlitra is a being that enveloped mountains and such, but Vlitra is a being that basically is mountains, and valleys, and oceans, making the remake seem grander than the original. The serpent attributes only come out during the final battle with him, where we see the 6 serpents slither around the planet, possibly influenced more about the Japanese Yamata no Orichi, or 8-branch giant snake, or 8-headed snake. Now the part about defeating them isn't as silly as killing them with foam, so it takes parts from the first story. Since every time we fight Vlitra, we are Asura, so in order to reference the source material, they created a special form that is shown a lot in this game. Just a little something called 6-armed Vajra Asura. See that bit? Vajra? Also known as the same Vajra that Indra uses to defeat Vlitra? It's all coming together, isn't it? So that's enough gabbing on about the will of the planet for now. So I'll see you guys next time on Did You Know Asura's Wrath. Bye! Well, here we go again. Now, before I bring up some tirade about fighting these guys, I will give this turtle a bit of credit for doing something different. This time around, the Shellhead has learned from his previous fallen brothers, and has decided to put a bit more of a defensive and ranged fight. He tends to rush away from you when you deal enough damage to him, and when you reach him, he sticks to just firing his shell mortars. When you are rushing towards him, mind you, he will burst out a lesser used move where he basically fires energy balls out of his mouth. All of these attacks can be dodged easily due to Yasha's increased speed, so they shouldn't really be a problem. other than this is the final time we're actually gonna fight one of these bosses again. So bid them farewell, because after this fight, they are gone. Thank God. Not Chakravartin, an actual good god. Now, don't get me wrong. The boss fights against these guys aren't exactly what I consider bad. It's just when you as a commentator go back to watch them, they feel so repetitive. I believe I've mentioned this before, like, quite a bit, but I would have loved to see a larger variety. I believe I mentioned this before, but I would have loved to see a larger variety of big boss Goma, like snakes, armadillos, maybe more airborne enemy that requires more skill to beat, but I understand why they chose not to, I guess. Reusing elephants and turtles, what are considered to be on the ground, one of the stronger Gomas, with the exception of that snake-headed beast thing, which I would have killed to actually fight. Just saying. Hammers in the fact that Asura's, or in this case Yasha's strength, far outclasses these beasts, and it's a good demonstration of their power story-wise. What better demonstration than to break the sound barrier to rush at someone who was right in front of us a few seconds ago. Goodbye, Shellhead. See you in Naraka.
As dull and simple-minded as you were, I admit you are strong. Even August acknowledged your strength. But your body is unable to withstand the anger you carry inside you. Then, there is only one thing left to do. Take this. It is the heart of the Karma Fortress that had accumulated 7 trillion souls worth of mantra. The mantra reactor. Pride, lust, greed, sloth, vanity, violence, melancholy, and wrath. These are the mantra that govern the world. Now that all the mantra has been used, it is powerless alone. But it is more than enough to serve as a vessel for your wrath. The pride of the 7 deities. I give it to you. Take it. Do not be mistaken. I am not saving you. You must face an even greater hell than this! Ah! Get up, Asura. It's time to reclaim Mithra and end this.
But will this new power bestowed upon our Asura be enough to finally end this living hell? Tune in next time on Asura's Wrath to find out.
Asura and Yasha. They are like oil and water, fire and ice. Yet the two rivals' fates never fail to cross. Their long journey together comes to an end.